it's showing on my end. Okay, hopefully you guys can hear me now. I was having some issues there. I wasn't wanting to start the live stream, so you guys have to let me know, make sure that you guys can hear me and everything, that we're actually showing live. I'm showing, been live for longer than it's showing that I was. So you have to let me know, like I said, if we are showing live. Loud and clear. Okay, sweet. So welcome everyone that is here to hang out. Hopefully the stream stays up. I've been having some issues with my internet lately, so hopefully we don't have any issues with bitrate or anything like that. No video. Yeah, you should just see the Houdini 20 live for the moment. Give a few minutes for everyone to get in here, and then we'll start going. Hopefully anybody that is a US citizen is having a good Thanksgiving. I unfortunately have to work, so I will be only on for a little bit. Don't get to hang out with my family or anything like that, but I figured we would do a short little live stream here, hang out for a few hours and work on some Houdini 20 stuff. Yeah, that's what should be showing. We'll go ahead and transition over here in just a moment. It's like I'm dropping quite a few frames too. I don't know why we're dropping so many frames. Internet not liking it. I don't know if I can adjust that on the fly. Give me just a second here. I may need to restart the stream. Let's see. Hopefully, I don't know if it lets you adjust your bitrate on the fly or not. It wasn't liking the bitrate that I put in, so had to drop that down. How's it going, Alex? Welcome, welcome. It looks like it maybe transitioned over. It doesn't look like we're dropping frames like we were, so I think we should be good now. All right, let's go ahead and jump on over. You should see the Houdini screen now. And as usual, we're going to be in the Solaris context, messing around. What's up, Sugar? And Captain Price, how's it going? All right, so I don't know. Do you guys have any things that you guys want to start off with? I figured we would take a look at the new sticky collisions in the RBD solver. I haven't really messed around with that yet, so I figured we would jump in with that and mess around with that. If you guys have any questions about Houdini 20 that you want to take a look at, we can try and take a look at it. I don't work for a VFX house. I just do this for fun on the side. I've been doing 3D stuff for like 10 years or so now. 10 or 11, I think 11. Started way back in like 2012. Started it with Blender, and then very quickly moved away from that because it was not the Blender that it is now. But let's go ahead. I guess we'll just start off with the RBD stuff. Take a look. I don't know if it is in the SOP tools or what it is. So we'll just start trying to take a look. Let's just take a look at the solver here first, see if it has any sticky collision stuff. on there. Have you guys messed around with the sticky collisions at all? How's it going, Strider? So I did look at their like, not their demo scene, but their the documentation. Actually, I think if let me pull that up real quick. Where did that go? I'm doing good. Let's see, sticky collisions. So actually, it looks like this is on the RBD configure. Yeah. Tag is rigid body. So it looks like the RBD configure is what's going to have the sticky collision stuff. Yeah, so sticky collisions, there it is. So is it all in here? What is this? Sticky collision ignore. So I guess it just is enabled with everything to start off with. It's kind of interesting. Let me adjust something real quick. Give me just a second here. Go. Get chat pulled up on this monitor. There we go. Alright, so I don't know, we'll just kind of mess around with this. I haven't messed around with this at all, so this is going to be a learning experience for all of us. So we'll just play around with it and see what we can come up with. We'll just start off with these. I wonder if there's a new DOP node for this. It's got to be able to, actually it's probably in this. It's got to have a way that it's pulling these sticky collisions. So we can figure out where it's creating those. To learn create windows with buildings floor. Yeah, I was looking into that before the stream. Right before the stream, it was one of the things that I was considering taking a look at with the new like room VOPs and all that stuff. Looks like it's all done in COPS, and I haven't really messed around with that, so I'm not sure we would get very far with that. So I wasn't too keen on giving it a shot live. I don't know, maybe they have, I suppose if they have a scene on SideFX's website, we could maybe, like a demo scene, we could maybe take a look. Let me pull that up real quick and we'll see if we can take a look, because that was something that I did want to take a look at as well. No, I started out with environment stuff way back when I first started. That's really what I kind of focused on for a long time, was just messing around with the environment work, but then I kind of moved into more motion graphics type stuff. I guess the very first project I did, I wish I still had it, was more of a motion graphics type thing. Where are the project files for Houdini 20? Content library, there we go. That's what I was looking for. So if you don't know, there is a ton of stuff in the content library, not just from Houdini 20, but from a bunch of the older releases as well. Let's see if they have a setup for the room VOP. think I see one. So it'd take a lot of like messing around to try and get it working, because I know like if I open up it's in the material context, so this is where it's all stored. So they have the room lens and the room map vop, that's all in here, but you have to bake them out, and I haven't done any sort of like the baking stuff in cops or anything like that, so I'm not exactly sure how that's going to work. And I don't have any room vops available. I'm sure you probably can find them online to get them working, but I really want to try and like create my own and see what I can do with that. But like I said, I haven't messed around with that, so I don't know how it all works. I wonder if there's in cops. Oh, it's probably in. I doubt they have like a, yeah, so it's gonna have to be like a, is there a bake? I don't even know. I don't spend any time in cops at all. I don't know how to even like bake stuff out. I'd have to look into all that. Seeing, just taking a quick look here. I suppose it's from a file output maybe. No, cop path. Yeah, I have no idea, man. I'll have to look into it. I wish they would have put something in there for that, like one of the project files or whatever. Anyways, let's go back to this. So let's just look in this .NET to see if there is a sticky collisions. No, there's not. Interesting. I wonder how that all works. Configure. I guess it's probably in the configure object. No, RB. Let's see. Maybe fractured object. I don't know. I'd have to look into that more too. Let's go ahead and just try this out though. So let's do material fracture just to set this up. What have you guys been playing around with most from the new update? Crank up the amount here so we get some smaller pieces. Something like that maybe. And then I wonder, does this need to be on the, let's pull up the documentation again. I don't know if this needs to be on the actual object we're simulating, or if it needs to be on the object that we are having fractured. Target box, this object is going to be fractured. Tagging target objects. So let's see. It's the name prefix to target. Sorry, I'm just reading through the documentation on how to set this up. Because like I said, I haven't messed with this before, so just giving it a shot. RBD configure, set the name prefix to target. Why is that? Are we changing anything? I don't understand. Roombot. Man, I wish I could hide this thing. Roombot works in tandem with the SOP node, which only creates the basic attributes for the prim. In the actual VOP node, where you wire these are at and load an image. A SOP node? So on like the SOP level? This room map frame, is this what you're talking about? So I didn't think this really did anything. As far as like baking it out. Is that what you're talking about, Carlos? Or is there something else? Because it says in the documentation something about the camera. So I thought it was like a camera thing. I don't know. I was just looking over it briefly before I jumped on here. For some reason, the documentation, tagging a target, tagging as a target. Name prefix to target. I don't know. It wants us to. This is target, I believe. Let's see. RB configure. Oh, so we want to set. Oh, that's weird. Okay. Apparently they want us to set a it's just sticky. Apparently they want us to set an attribute for each of these. Whoops, not the room map frame. Yes, okay, so then how does this, how do you bake anything out of this though? Is it you like baking it from cops or something? Because this doesn't have anything. I have no idea. Do you have a, yeah, I don't know, never mind. Apparently they want this to be called sticky, according to documentation. The sticky collision section, turn on min sticky collision impulse. Oops. So I guess you activate it on here. Pulse relies on the stub steps and be tricky to adjust. If the impact is strong enough, the solver adds glue constraints to the constraint network. Change the parameters value to 15. Collisions. I guess they want us to set that to 15. What are the collisions to have? Oh, I suppose I need to put this on top. I guess it already is. So I guess we merge these and then wire them into the solver. I guess. And we probably need a gravity. We do have gravity enabled. Let's set up the ground plane. I also need to not have this be right there. Just move this up for now. How's it going, ZX? Oh, I guess I need to. What's it? This is active. It's been a long time since I've played with the RBD tools. Oh no. Let's go back. So what, it thinks these are separate objects? Or are not separate objects? Interesting. So it's not creating any of these. I don't know if I missed something here in the documentation. Shading and XPU is comparable working with third-party engine. I think it works really well. I'll cover it. I got a video that's going to be coming out in the next week about a bunch of the new stuff that's in Karma. There's actually quite a bit of stuff. We can take a look at some of them. So there's some new things that I really like. First and foremost, if you don't know, to just start rendering, you can just change your viewport to XPU or CPU or whatever. And if you don't have a Karma render setting set down, you hover over and press D in your viewport. It has the different settings of the render that you can just set in here. So that's where that just kind of speeds up your workflow a little bit. We also have some new stuff in Karma. So there's some new noises. So the 2D and 3D Voronoi noises are new. So we have one of each of these. We also have a new Circles 2D. Like I said, I go over some of this stuff in the video, but there's some new noises which are cool. I really like the way that this is all set up. There's also a new node, so you don't have to. Normally you'd bring in like Material X images and then you would plug these into the base color or whatever. You no longer have to bring in a million of these. You can just bring in this new Material X PBR texture set and you can load in all your textures in here, and it has some default values set. That's super nice. So a lot of quality of life stuff that's been added to Karma, and with Karma XPU it's a lot nicer. There's some stuff that was missing from Karma before, so like crypto mat, a bunch of other things that were missing that were added in there. Crypto mat I think is one of the bigger ones in my opinion that was missing, that definitely needed to be in there. But yeah, lots of new stuff in here. I've been rendering out all my stuff in Karma XPU because Redshift isn't available yet for Houdini 20 as far as I know, and Karma XPU is pretty decent now. I think it's definitely slower than Redshift well, I don't necessarily want to say that, but it seems like it's maybe a little bit slower. I don't want to say definitely, but it seems like it's maybe a little bit slower than Redshift with rendering. Maybe with more complex scenes, it's not, but as far as I can tell, it seems like it's maybe a little bit slower. But overall, I think it's pretty solid. I definitely like it. I also really like I didn't ever use this in the last in 19.5 with the material linker. This thing is super awesome. So if we just wire stuff up here, So we have our SOP crate, we have all our different pieces. We can apply different things to there. But with our material linker, we made a bunch of these materials. We can take these and we can go and drag these in here, and then we can bring stuff over. Now, I covered this in a video that I have coming out here too, but there's a bug right now, it seems, with this this little interface right here. So if you take a look and watch this link includes one, as I click on something else, well, it's not going to do it now. Sometimes, maybe it was because, hold on. Sometimes if you have multiple of these, I guess, if you have multiple of these pulled up and you click on one of these, sometimes it will change this to be a different material, which can be kind of frustrating and annoying. And it looks like it doesn't always happen, but it does happen sometimes. So just keep that in mind. There is a custom build of Redshift for Houdini 20. Where is that available? Is that available on their website? Because I didn't see it there. Let me pull it up. The only gripe you had was with mapping, types, cubic, etc. Aside from that, looks great. Yeah, I think they added some new ones into their. When did that come out, Alexander? Let's see. Oh man, hopefully I'm not dropping frames. My internet is having a stroke. It's not wanting to load at all. Where is that available? I don't see it on their website. It shows that the most recent version that they support for Houdini is 19.5.752. So I'm not sure where you got that. Maybe it's just supported and they haven't updated their thing because they don't like Houdini. That could be too. All right, I guess let's just go to documentation and I'll delete those now. Looks like you. Okay, Redshift.maxon. Give me a second here, let me pull it up. Okay, I'm gonna be a pain in the butt. Hold on. Please hold. Redshift.maxon.net. Yeah. Hold on, I'm pulling it up. It's not. Till now. So it is supported now? Did it just come out like just now? Oh, is this a new? Oh god, this is a new website, I guess. Houdini 20, okay. Good to know. I'm glad that they don't I'm glad that they don't have that on their official like help.maxon.net page, where it, when you type in Redshift for Houdini, the very first thing that comes up has that not listed. That's awesome. .5.21. Alright, I will have to take a look at that. Grab that and get that installed. Thank you for showing me that. But I guess we'll go through, and unless there's something else that you guys want to take a look at, I will go through here and just kind of rebuild exactly what it says in the documentation, since this doesn't seem to be working. You have it installed. That's awesome. I will definitely have to take a look at it, get it installed. Not that it's like that big of a deal, because like I said, I have been rendering everything with Karma anyways, but I do like the different noises that are in Redshift, because like that's one of my biggest gripes with Material X is noises are so important for building everything. And like I guess we have these two new Voronoi noises, but I guess I haven't really messed around with this. Yeah, this is like not very, there's like Perlin, Cell, Whirly, Fractal. There's like not a lot of noises in this. Cell noise, Whirly, which is included in the unified noise. There's just not many noises that are in here, unless, where is that circles? Max on noise, yeah, max on noises are so good, so good. I guess, are these new noises? Are these noises all too? Procedural 2Ds and 3Ds. I guess these may be noises too. Let's take a look. Let's just apply it to the whole thing. And we need to specify that bop. Oops, that's not the right thing. I guess these are noises. Huh. Yeah, I haven't really messed around with these. I guess that probably uses, what, UVs or something. Let's go back in here and let's just create a grid. Yeah, I use max on noises all the time when I was using Redshift. What in the world? I guess it needs what, the texture coordinates? Material X texture coordinates. Probably needs a set of UVs too. V flatten. Sorry, a little tangent here. Let's do 0.5 and 0.5. Yeah, so I guess there are some other noises. That's interesting. I haven't really played around with those. Crosshatch. Sorry, we're going on a little tangent here. It's like, that's, like I said, that's kind of my biggest gripe with Material X is the lack of like noises. Like these are okay, but like the unified noise, we've got like these types of noises, those are definitely more important to have than just these hexagon and crosshatch and whatever else is in there. Does Karma beat Redshift quality and speed? I would say no, it doesn't beat in speed most. Yeah, in most cases. Maybe with more complex things. Another thing that I've noticed with Karma is when you're rendering out animations, there's a pretty decent amount of time to load in between frames, even with like super simple stuff. Karma XP is fully usable now. Watch Redshift huts and recreate the shading networks and then save them into a custom catalog. Yeah, I mean, you can definitely you can definitely build their like your normal materials, but as far as like some of the more complex stuff that you would need noises to create, so the procedural materials that you would have in Redshift, some of that stuff you can't really do inside Karma, just at least from what I've seen. I wonder if you could, no, you probably can't. I was gonna say, I wonder if you could take the new texture paint node and some of the like noises that they have in VOPs and use those to create some stuff. But the noises in VOPs, I guess, require points. If you take render as a single process in the USD wrap, it sort of fixes that. Yeah, the color ramp thing. I was looking at that in in the video. So there's this new, I think there's two. I don't know if this one was in there before or not, but this one's definitely new. So this one is new. Where does this ramp like show up? Like, 'cause it's a parameter, right? So it should just show up on like it should show up on a different level somewhere, right? Yeah, the PBR collection node. Yeah, we talked about that just a minute ago. It's texture set. That texture set. That's super useful. Oh, it doesn't let you do that. That sucks. Yeah, it's color ramp. I guess you'd have to throw it into the default. Get that to work. So where does this show up though? Because I would expect it to like show up on here, but it doesn't. Because I think, yeah, I don't know. How do you preview your noise in Material X? The ramp is on the Karma material subnet. This thing? Where? We're looking at it. Or are you talking about like the material library? Not sure what you're talking about. So it should be, I would think it would be in here. Karma ramp constant. Yeah, that's what this is. Karma ramp parameter, right? Oh, ramp constant is the new one, sorry. So this one's the new one? I thought this was the new one. So this shows up. Edit the material network. Write a material parameter in Solaris. Let's take a look. I guess we need to select this, right? Load. So this is all grayed out. Shouldn't this should be showing up on this? Is that right? Once you click load, because normally, like if you have a material linker and you set, I guess did I have that? Yeah, I had that applied. If you have like one of the, let's go over to the AMD Material X library. Pull this up real quick. Taking a second to load. edit material parameter. Looks like my Houdini's frozen. You're gonna have to wait a second. I don't know why I'm frozen. Let's see. Volumes aside, they should be similar. RS introduced multi-bound scattering, however, so they might be on par volume-wise as well. I haven't rendered volumes in a while in Redshift. My Houdini is crashing. Is the multi-bound scattering new? Like I said, I haven't rendered volumes in there in a little bit. Yeah, go for it, Winchester. There we go. All right, so edit material parameter. You mean properties? Is that what you mean? Is this the... I don't know how to use this node. Is it on the stop create? Is this what we're... Yeah, it's on stop create. Okay. I don't see it on here either. Right, because it should be on... Should be on that. But if you have like these, right, so you load up a material, whatever one, I don't know which ones I have downloaded. Let's do, just bring this one in. Maybe. My Houdini is not liking working with streaming apparently. It's been running pretty smooth. I did have issues when I first installed Houdini 20. I had issues with node placement delay. If you guys are having that, just install your license locally instead of using SideFX as your license server, and then you should be all good from that point on. You're talking about with the material properties? Or the edit material. Like this, when I click load, this should bring up the parameters, I thought. I mean, I guess I could be wrong, but like this, if I apply this to our grid here, or not. Where is the grid at? Here, let's do this differently. If I apply it in here, I always do that. So now we have that material applied. If I take a look at that actual material, Spark base, I load that. I guess maybe it doesn't. No, it's not even loading the material. That's weird. Use the material. Okay. Well, why is it not working? It's not showing up in mine. I guess it doesn't. I thought that it had the parameters show up in here. So we definitely have the ability in here. But like this is all grayed out like it's a reference to something. So like it's showing that it is, but it won't let me actually edit it. And it doesn't show up on here either. Sorry. That. I don't know. Is it still the same where you have a volume and have to create a new material for Karma and not be able to use the bake pyro shader in SOPs like in Mantra? It's a nice pre-made shader. Yeah, so there is in the material linker. Drop down another one. Actually, in the material library, it is. There's a new pyro material. So there's, just drop that down, and then it brings in a pyro shader for you. There's also in the material library, or not library, linker. And here under the catalog, if you come to the material, the default material catalog, there's like a cloud shader. I don't know if there's other ones. Pyro smoke, yeah. So there's some different shaders in there that you can use as well. Yeah, I've been doing everything in Solaris now. I think Solaris is at a point where it's a lot more usable than it was in the past, mostly just because of Karma. Karma's being gold now is a huge win for Solaris in general. So you don't have to, like, this is all super complex, so I don't even understand, like, there's X forms and you can come in here and come to the primitive definitions. There's different components and kinds and nested groups. There's all sorts of different stuff. It's very, very complex. This whole scene graph and all of the different terminology for USD, but you really don't need to understand all that to be able to work in it effectively. Now, obviously, if you're in a studio or something, then yeah, you probably do need to do that, but just to work on your own and be able to build scenes out and shade them and everything, you don't really need to understand all that. The clone render. No, I meant to take a look at that in a video that I'm going to have coming out next week, but I haven't looked at that. I suppose we can look at that now. Let me just load up. Let me load up that ripple solver video that we did. And then we can take a look at the new multicam thing. So if you don't know how the new ripple solver works, I put out a video on that, so you can go take a look at that. Also, the project file is available on Patreon. The only things that I'm not able to provide is going to be the texture for this, because this is from CG Axis. Redshift apparently is now supported. Let me post that link. There's a new custom build for it. Does that even work as a link? I don't even know. I guess that didn't work as a link. Why does that not work as a link? That's weird. Oh, why don't I do this? I will update the description real quick and throw it in there. Let me remember how to do that. Settings, nope. Channel settings. Where is my... Oh, there it is, sorry. My stuff will load. I am dropping major frames right now. I don't know why my internet is dying. You guys still hear me okay? I don't know. Stream's showing like it's dying here. Yeah, if you can you guys still hear me? I don't know if you guys can still hear me or not. Looks like it's showing, okay, sound is good. I don't know, it's showing like that my stream's dying on my end. But anyway, so let's take a look. Let's come over to the new pane type and then come down to Solaris and render gallery. If you guys don't know, there's a shortcut to pop out any windows. So if you hover over a window, you press Alt, Shift, and C. Maybe, yeah, Alt, Shift, and C, and then it pops out a window. Super, super useful. So we can launch things in the background, which I don't know if that's new or not. But we can launch a render in the background real quick. Alright, looks like showing good on my end again. I don't know what is going on. Whenever I try to like load a web page or something, it just like wants to die. Why is this? This is like not showing. It should. The best thing about the clone render is that you're able to keep the main lops viewer super light while working on the lops graph. Yeah, I haven't even. Where is the clone render thing at? I haven't messed with it. I forget where it showed in the thing. I know there's render stats over here. There is a way to change the color space of a texture now. There is the new color space. There is a color space node somewhere. Oh, it's a different pane? Okay, well, I guess we'll let that render out. Is that under the same thing? Clone control panel. Ah. Gotcha. How does this work then? Local clone? Yeah, color transform, that's what it is. Color transform. Yeah. So you can change your color space from here. Aces is working great. So you have all your different things in here. You can transport them over. I thought that there's file color space here. Okay, so this is enable the rendering thumbnail. No? So we have to create a local clone first, right? So we'll set a thread count, I don't know, like 6 or something. Okay, well. Lop camera auto. So can, like I said, I don't know how this works at all. So if we create another local clone here, can we change which renderer it's using? Can we just like drag this over? Oh, that'd be cool. I don't know how any of this works. Let me pull up the... You have to point it to a lop node. So what do you just... How do you... You just select it in here? Oh, gotcha. So do you set it to your camera render settings then? Then how do you start it? Under the lop category where it says none. Yeah. How do you start the actual render? Oh, just click it. No? Oh, it looks like it's going. Yeah. Nice. So you created null as an output node. I gotcha. OCIO color transform only works with CPU. I think CPU and XPU are pretty much almost at like a feature parity. So I'm going to say that it probably works correctly. I have the Karma documentation pulled up. CIO. Let's convert files. Double click on the thumbnail. What does that do? Does that pull it up in the render gallery? Clone one. Ah, yeah. So it looks like it's, yeah, it had it started and then I stopped it. So let's just delete that one. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I say, and actually, this is kind of interesting. Let me just launch a render real quick. Actually, let me launch background. Did I not? Can you change how many renders are allowed to run in the background? How many where are all my renders going? So this is finished. I never used the render gallery before in Houdini 20. Let's just render this out. Whoa, let's not render everything. Yeah, double click the... Okay, so OCIO color transform. I would say that it probably works in Houdini 20 as well. I haven't played with it. How do I render to the freaking gallery? Like I said, I never used this very much in Houdini 20. Spen, you seem like a render gallery expert over here. How do I render to the render gallery? Or how do I send this to the render gallery? I guess you could maybe, what, double click it? Nope. Since it doesn't want to allow me to render in the background for some reason. Increase render gallery settings. I don't know where they're, probably here. I guess this works. Why? Oh, shoot. Let's not. Let's stop that. That's not what I was wanting to do. That is what I was looking to do. Let's delete that. So I think it's interesting. I think that's why I'm trying to render out a second pass here. So this one was rendered on the CPU using only 6 threads, which is not very many. And I have 48 available. So XPU is gonna render this in about the same time. Does that make any sense? Karma, the OCIO transform is listed under node supported, so I guess that answers that question. Clone is live updating to any change in the graph. So this is full. Oh, okay. So you'd have to stop this render. Gotcha. Gotcha. This one's running directly off of XPU. And CPU rendered it out in 1 minute and 29 seconds. So that's super fast, actually. And at least for a CPU render, in my opinion. And it looks like XPU is going to render it just slightly faster than that. But I was only using 6 threads, so I wonder what happens if I throw more threads at it. Because this took 1 minute and 18 seconds versus 1 minute and 29 seconds. And I've got a lot more horsepower going into this XPU. I've got 3090 and A4000 and the CPU running 5965WX. So I would think that it would load a lot faster. Can I adjust adjust these settings at all? Launcher configuration? Yeah, we can. So if I set this to like 30 threads. And then can I pause this and then re-render it? Is clicking this button just restart it? That's interesting. There is some, it's not a full 1-to-1 in Karma, CPU, and XPU. They do have a little bit of a look difference. So that's interesting. So if I turn that back on, I guess that just turns it off. And then we have to double click the image, pull it back up. So this is 30 threads. And it's running off of my render settings, right? Holy, this is flying, dude. This is insane. Why is CPU so much faster than XPU? That's nuts. Oh, CPU sample only 9. You're right. You're right. But still, it doesn't look that. Oh yeah, it does look noisy. I just couldn't see it. You're right. I'm dumb. That makes a lot more sense. Okay. Yeah, but still, that's actually, I don't know. That's kind of still kind of fast for how quickly or how little noise there is. But yeah, this render stats is super cool. I really like this. Can definitely mess around with this and get a lot. So USD, so it says USD load time, so that's how much time it should be like taking to load everything in there. But if you render out like a series of images, like it takes a second to load in between, and I don't know why that is. It's definitely more than a second and a half. Let's see. Why is this cut off? Come on, give me my. Oh, I'm done. That's funny. This is cut off. Time to first pixel. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so definitely a lot faster, I guess, on XPU. Even on time to first pixel. That's interesting. This gives you a CPU, gives you more information as well. Time spent. Noticeable speed difference. So a lot of people I hear are saying that they see Karma being slower in Houdini 20 versus Houdini 19.5. I wouldn't say that it's really slower. I guess some people have done some tests. I haven't noticed it being really any slower or faster as far as XPU goes. I never really used CPU. because I don't know, it's so slow. CPU renderers are just so slow. Yeah, you have so much more information. Shader calls. I guess it's just a difference in the architecture or whatever. But it's interesting they don't save these in the same spots either. But yeah, so we can run multiple ones of these at the same time. So we could do a different camera. It's gonna use render settings. So can we like duplicate? Yeah, duplicate these, and then we can change the settings of these. So launcher configuration. We'll set this back to like 6, and then 6. That's fine. So you can create 2 different cameras. We'll make a different one. Let's look through this one. Just set this to somewhere else. I guess. Well, the render settings. So, what does it use? Does it use like these settings? If you select a node that's before the render settings, does it use these settings then? And how do you get it to set, like this is using, oh, I guess the CPU, can you change this? You can't, XPU. So what does this look like when it's set to XPU? Oops. Yeah, Karma Physical Sky is awesome too. So can you limit like GPUs in here? Doesn't look like it's going to give you the option to. So where does... Huh. I guess you could render on one. Oops. I need to set that. All right. So if it doesn't have Spin, I don't know if you're still here. You seem to be like the aficionado for this. If you set the, like if I were to set this to be on the camera, right? If like as my lop, it doesn't have the render settings ahead of that. So is it going to use just what's in here, or is it going to be, I would assume that it would just use that, right? Render farms will eventually support clones with HQ feedback before they send the farm. Yeah. Looking at what's in front of me. That was a stupid question. Alright, let's set this one then to camera 1 and camera 2. So now we can launch both of these. We have to double click them, right, to open them. Yeah, so it uses default settings. Why? Whoops. Oh, because this one's running off of... Pull that away for a second. Wait, no, this one should be... This should be running off of the camera that I set, right? So... Why would it be showing this? Okay, there we go. Just messed up there. Wait. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. I could see that being useful in different situations. So these are running XPU, but they're only running... They only run off of the CPU, even in XPU mode. So why... Can you set it to a different GPU? Can you set the GPUs anywhere? Because under our render stats, it's not showing either of the GPUs, even though we're running off of XPU. And obviously, like, we can change the thread counts there. Because, like, I get why that's... I don't know. I guess I kind of don't get why that it wouldn't use your GPU. Or there wouldn't be an option for you to at least select which GPU you're using. Any ideas, Ben? Yeah, 5965. Yeah, I just built a new computer, kind of for this, right before Houdini 20 came out. I got it built on like October 13th, so I've had it for a little bit over a month. 13th, I think, is the first day. Got a 5965, a 3090, and a A4000. Can you set XPU as your default and preferences? Like in the viewport preferences? Is that what you mean? In here? Ask my Houdini GPT. I'm not sure. I don't think you can really set a default. I mean, I suppose you can set no defaults, right? So if you wanted to set this as a no default, you can come in here and go to, it's kind of off screen, but save as permanent defaults. And then you'd obviously just set XPU as your engine. If it uses the default, yeah, but it's only using the CPU though. I would think with it being XPU that it would be using, because it says that, I mean, you can see they got different settings here, but the engine is XPU, so it should be running off of that. You said, yeah, someone else said that, or maybe you said that earlier. Set your render frames to a single process. So what does that mean? Where was that setting at? Is that under the ROP? Or is that under the render settings? Deep with AOVs with XPU. It has deep output, so I believe so. I don't mess with deep. Correct me if I'm wrong, but deep is pretty much used for just like well, it's most used for like complex volume compositing, right? It's under the ROP. USD ROP. So, frame range. So what does this do? So, Render all frames in a background process. Continued interaction with Houdini. So why does that change anything though? I don't know why that would change anything. It's like ZDEP but smarter. Yeah, I don't. I mean, I have Fusion. I think Fusion can handle that, but I don't mess with Deep. So it's very heavy on the amount of data that it outputs and file sizes too, if I remember right. So something like caching everything that's required in the second pass to actually render it. You haven't highlighted. Well, yeah. It doesn't matter because I'm pulling that in this lop. Oh, it restarts a Houdini instance for every frame. Okay. Gotcha. Possible render volume depth without deep. I don't know. If you don't use it. Yeah, okay. Well, that makes more sense. So once you have the render settings selected, it doesn't even allow you to change anything in the display options there. So that's interesting. But in here, like, it's not like I can limit to just the CPU or the GPU. Because I had looked into trying to set a limit, like only use my primary GPU so that I can use the secondary GPU for recording and streaming stuff, just so that things don't, like when I'm recording, things don't get messed up. Because sometimes if you're rendering at the same time as you are recording while you're trying to record your voice or any sort of audio, it really messes with the audio. Yeah, Husk instance, yeah. So any word on this only rendering with the CPU? I guess maybe that's a feature for now. Because there's no like hardware limit on here at all. But okay. So is there anything else you guys want to take a look at for the moment? Otherwise I might jump back. I don't know. I was having trouble getting that sticky collisions to work properly. I guess we could jump back in there and just go what's the word? I'm drawing a blank. Step by step. Go step by step through the documentation, what it says to do exactly what it says. If you guys don't want to take a look at anything else. No, when you're in the viewport, it's using everything. You can see, like if I set this to XPU, you're gonna see, yeah, 2 optics and an embry. So it's using all of my hardware in the viewport. It's not doing that in the clones. We can take a look at the quad remesher. The Apex, I have not even come close to touching. That shit is complex. And the room VOP, I haven't looked at that either, because we started to try to look at it. Maybe you guys, if you guys have used it, we can try to go over it. I haven't used it. I tried to look at the documentation quickly, but it looks like it uses cops and stuff, and I don't know. Get rid of my, can we not do this? All right, let's go in here. Okay, Karma XPU disabled device. Oh, and the environment variable. Gotcha. Yeah, I was hoping that that's like not a very clean way to do it though. I was hoping that you could go through and there'd be a setting on like the ROP or something, or like in the preferences to only use one GPU, or to select your devices. That'd be a lot better than having to go into the environment, because then you have to go and exit out of Houdini and restart it and everything. That's just a pain. For each clone? Yeah, I don't know. That explains why you filled your disk in like 3 picoseconds. I don't know what I missed. So if the render settings node specified in the clone, it won't use the... No, it uses XPU, but it only uses your CPU. And leaving it on auto doesn't do anything either. Try to pull off... Oh, the quad remeshing? So I have a video on the quad remeshing actually. But it's pretty... It works pretty well. Let's load up one of my things from 3D Scans. So 3dscans.com, you can grab one of these things and follow along with me. You can do that. Let's do the dragon because it's kind of more of a complex model. Should be implemented. So if the render settings node specified in the clone, it won't use the XPU. Yeah, it doesn't use the GPU no matter what, for whatever reason. How does the what's it called? The quad remesher deal with UVs? Is that what you're asking, Nick? What do I gotta rotate this on? Alright, let's do a match size after this. If you want to grab this file, this is on 3dscans.com. It is free. That is a good question. I do not know. I would assume that it... I don't know. I would assume that it kind of just ignores them. Just probably destroys them, honestly. Probably. Usually remeshing in general just... Or some... 30, yeah, so like this is not a clean model. This is super triangulated and stuff. This node works extremely fast as well. Teach UV control. What are you talking about, like the rest state UVs and stuff? Yeah, I messed up in that video. It's kind of embarrassing. Alright, so quad remesh here. What is this set to? So this has 2.3 million, so maybe we'll set this to, we'll even set it to like 1 million. And it is done. So you can see like that, it works so well on these types of models. So especially scans, it works amazing on scans. That's like instant. For reference, if I were to use the quad remesher, the exosides quad remesher on this, it would take a while to calculate. And you just saw, like, we can change this to 1.5 million even, and Boom, it's done calculating. Like, that's how fast it is. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. Same with the ripple solver. They did an insanely good job with some of these things. They work so insanely fast. For opacity cut within Karma and Material X for foliage and stuff. I don't know if there's a sprite node or not. I don't. Yeah, this model it's super, super clean. Like the geometry works really well. Now, if you go to like hard edges, let's see, is there any of the test geometry that has hard edges? Or actually, you know what? I have a different file here that has a kind of a hard edge. Let's cancel that. So this bird figurine has it's, yeah, dude, it works so well. It works so well. So this is the bird figurine from 3dscans.com. This takes a little, I should just honestly, how often I use these things, just clean these up. I think there is like a little piece of geometry somewhere on this one. I can't remember if it's on this one. Which size? Yeah, where is that? It's like, yeah. Do a blast before this. Just select these points and delete them. That way we have a cleaner mesh. And we'll set this to min. Okay, so we've got a little bit more of a hard edge here. So it probably isn't going to work too well. And this may not even be a hard enough edge. But let's go ahead. How many polygons does this have? 200K. I'll drop another one down. Let's just cancel that. The bubble solver. No, I haven't actually. That's one of the things I forgot about. I need to mess around with that as well. Set this to 100,000. And boom, it's done. Yeah, this isn't a hard enough edge, I guess. Because this worked really well for this. It works really, really well in a lot of cases. A lot of cases. You can see. Let's do a switch. We might have to create a clever cache strategy beforehand, so only the geo is updated that has proper deformation going on under everything in tops. What did I miss here? Reducing scene loading. So apparently there's some different, I haven't tried it. Like there's different ways to load files into Solaris and Karma. So apparently if you have things set to USD, if you export everything to USD first, it renders faster, it loads faster. But I haven't confirmed that. But yeah, if we look between the two here, if we turn off our... So we lost some detail there. But if we crank up the detail, I like the polygons, set that like to 1.5 mil. Or actually that was 150,000. If we set this to like 1.5 million, the more polygons you have, the more dense your mesh is going to be, or like the more detailed your mesh is going to be. But yeah, you see there's like hardly any difference here between the two. So this is the remesh model and then the original scan, and they look really, really good. You even have all the little weird texture that you got down there. Now some of these areas, I wonder, like, because these are kind of like errors almost, like not enough detail, so it does kind of smooth out some of those, and honestly that kind of looks better than the scan itself anyways, because like those areas are just too little detail in there. guess see, it kind of struggled here. So you do have to mess around with it a little bit sometimes. So let's go back in here. So you see there we have some bad geometry in here, but we can try to get rid of that. By messing around with the decimation level, you can get rid of those things. Like, that's all I needed to do, and that got rid of that error. Now we've got another error here. So maybe we turn this down. It's just kind of a balance. And you can see what's going on the back end. If you set this to global parameterization, this is how much it's decimating your mesh. So it doesn't necessarily work all the time. Yeah, see, we're just getting more issues elsewhere. So it does have some issues, but you could probably clean that up. And if you wanted to, well, this isn't a symmetrical model, but I don't know if that's just off of the mirroring. You can guide this though. So like if you had, I have a video on this. Yes, you can use attributes on this. You can create attributes. Actually, I need to do that. I wanted to try like guiding things a little bit better. But yeah, you can use a guide attribute in here, and that will allow you. I probably have that file. Let me see if I'll open the original file that I had from the video. Tutorials. I don't know where I put it. Remesh. There it is. Let's just open this up real quick. It's not really a texture mask. So this is. We'll let this load. This was with one of the other meshes. See, it works really well on these types of scans. So we have the test geometry here, right? The pig head. So we can take some attributes and we can apply them. So it's going to be, I just called it the guide attribute. It's going to be a vector attribute. So I set that to 0, and then in this other wrangle, I'm setting just a selection of points. You can see which ones here, or primitives, I should say. Setting a selection of those equal to just a positive in the y direction for the guide. And then I have just a selection on the other side. Whoops. That I'm setting to the positive in the x direction. And then with the remesh, we can see how this affects it. So if I turn this top one off, well, it's kind of hard to tell, but it changes the geometry in here. So with this off, obviously we get some different results. Over here, I think it was a little bit more visible. Yeah, so you see how with it off, the polygons are traveling up this way. With it turned on, we now adjust that, so now they're kind of flowing along this way. So you can guide it a little bit, but I haven't really messed around with that too much. An hour ago, yes, in the Facebook Houdini artist how to create multiple cameras in viewport with switcher. Apparently is with a third camera under switches. God, there's this stupid icon right in the way. Under switcher is a very great in Solaris too. I don't know what you're referring to, Alfredo. But yeah, I'm assuming that you can draw, like, you'd be able to draw lines along your mesh. Like, can you draw, can you draw curves? How do you draw curves on a mesh? I don't know if there's a way inside Houdini. Do you guys know if there's a way to draw curves on a mesh? Or if we would have to, like, ray them in? I suppose we could just ray them in as a test. but you could draw them on, and then you could set a attribute. I don't know. Let's just, I don't know. We'll give it a shot. Let's do front. Draw curve. Draw curve can draw it onto. Onto geometry. Is that what you need to do? Projection onto geometry. Connect the mesh. Here, let's actually need this one. Project. So this is the right setup, right? So let me just draw kind of along like this, right? Let's get out of this. Oh, sweet. Yeah, nice. Okay. So let's just resample that then. I've got an idea. So let's set this to subdivision. Something like that. And then let's maybe smooth this. Sure, that works. So now with my modified normals node, we can set this to normals along the curve, I believe. And then we could rename the vector to guide. And I think we can plug that into the quad remesh now and get something. No, wait, hold on. We have to attribute transfer that, or attribute copy that. Can it not use prim groups as a guide attribute, similar to ZBrush? It kind of. Let's see, points. Guide. I need this to be on attribute match. It's on the points, but whatever. So geometry spreadsheet. Our guide, that's on the points, so we need to do an attribute promote. That needs to be on the primitives, I believe. So I don't know if that's going to work. So if we I mean, I guess it kind of works. Not real well. We need this. Yeah, it doesn't really work all that well. I guess we need to probably like have this within a radius. Curve, point, angle, ray, geo oscillator ray. We have that. We can just do it with the draw curve. I'm assuming Revo, that's what you're talking about. I think you're maybe behind a little bit on the stream. Unless you're talking about something else, in which case I'm not sure what you're referring to. So do you need to do this with like a point bob or something? Or a primitive bob? Can we... I'm not sure how I do this in my head. We need to take the... We need to take the curve. We need to only like apply the guides to where the curves are. Yeah. That was where my head was going. PC open. We need to take the second input, right? And then PC filter. This to guide. Does that work? CD? Nope. We don't have the position connected, that's why. There we go. Yeah, so then we can just bind this out to, whoops, bind export to a vector. We call that guide. So then that should be good now, right? Guide. Yeah, okay. So let's see how that works then. Yeah, so you kind of can. Yeah, so you totally can. So now if we took the, can you draw multiple curves with this? Probably. If we did that around the eye, and that should be, if we set the normals. Oops. Yeah, so we have that along there. So then this should have some topology kind of flowing around it, but it doesn't look like it does. Huh. Why is it a vector? The guide, why is the guide a vector? Because it needs to kind of know where to flow, I guess. Yeah, it's got to be like it's kind of like a normal, so like it needs all three position vectors to be able to like tell where the quad remesher to like send the geometry. So right, so we have the curve going along here. So if it's just a float that doesn't provide it really any information, the vector shows that okay, it's traveling kind of along this way, so it's going to try and stick it along there. Let me do another draw curve. I want to see if we can get the eyeball to kind of show up here. I like the stuff to flow around the eyeball. Turn off the visualization again. So maybe we just don't have enough resolution here. We're not getting that. Maybe we need to subdivide this. Because it'd be nice to be able to like keep the ring around it, right? Be able to control that. Doesn't look like we're really able to though. So you can kind of control it and how the topology flows. Oh, am I not? Did I turn that off? Am I dumb? No. Why is this not... giving us what it should? Yeah, this is... Oh, because it's not drawn in the right spot. Because I'm dumb. And forgot to do that. Okay. Let's get rid of that stroke. There we go. Now I have two. Why do I have two? Oh, just a glitch. Okay. Yeah, okay. So now we should have, hopefully, some flow. Yeah, still, I mean, still not really working like I would expect it to. I'd expect to have some sort of like loops. I guess we kind of do. I guess we kind of have it flowing around there, but not super well. So, yes, you can kind of control it, but not the best. Here, this will be good representation. Is this how we want to project it? No, we want to do it in the negative x. Yeah, I guess you do get that. So you could probably get some decent results. You kind of get some ring type effect going on. Have I gone over the clouds? No, I have not. Should we jump into the clouds? We want to jump into clouds. I was working on the sticky collisions in the RBD solver, but I wasn't getting it to work super well. We can jump into clouds if we want. Did I? Oh, we're just in the build context. Okay. Let's just open a new window here. So hopefully that answers your questions about the quad remesher. I think it was Nick. I think you were the one that asked about that. So let's do SOP create if we were in the stage context. There we go. Yeah, so there's some new nodes. Hello, Todd. I actually, before we do anything in here, I think there's some new nodes. Let's see what they're called. Let me pull up the documentation again. There's some new noises, I think. I thought. Yeah, there is. Okay. Well, I'm going to look at these real quick just because I haven't done so yet. I still use ACES 1.2. There's not a 2.0 configuration or whatever that I found. That has everything in it, so I just still use the 1.2. It's fine for my needs. So there's a new set of noises that are available in the VOPs. They go along with the clouds. So we have this vibratus. We have a flocus. It looks like this. And we have, actually there's two more. We have a fractus. Nope. Fractus, there we go. We have a fractus that looks like this. So that's kind of a cool one too. And then undulatus. Fun names. Yeah, they're all like cloud type stuff. And that one looks like that. So new stuff that goes along with clouds. They have fancy little cloud icon there. So you can use those to create some interesting stuff. I haven't played around with them at all, actually. Kind of slow. A little slow. Definitely get some cool stuff. This reminds me a lot of one of the Maxon noise types, actually. This specific, like fine lines. Well, I mean, you have. I think Flocus is actually like a cloud term. Fibratus, I think, is kind of close to a cloud term. Like with the clouds, you got like cumulus and I don't know what all the names of clouds are, but I know there's like cumulus and different ones in there. Bunch of Pokemon. Yeah. Yeah, so you can do some interesting stuff with this. I would love to be able to like export this into like the UV texture. What is that? Paint. It's called like paint, isn't it? Paint. Texture mask paint. I would love to be able to paint. Have this be able to have the quality that you have in the texture mask paint nodes, because this relies on the points, right? So we got, obviously we're limited by the resolution of our mesh. Stupel, yeah, something like that. Stupel and the Maxon one looks very similar to this. Yeah, Maxon noise library is massive. I don't know if are those noise. Does anybody know? Are those like noises? I'm assuming they're like copywritten somewhat by Maxon. They made them, or are they available to like create? Like, is there like a research paper out there somewhere that has like a bunch of those noises in there? Because if they have that, then you would definitely be able to recreate them inside of Houdini or whatever. If you had the, well, especially Houdini, because we have the ability to use the Vex stuff, right? Anybody have any idea? So I know there are some other noise types that there's like research papers written on, so you could probably implement those, but I don't know. But yeah, so we've got these different types. Let's mess around with a couple of them because I haven't really done so. So these go along with the clouds. I'm assuming this is kind of somewhat like, these are a lot of the settings that are in the cloud nodes. So like the cloud, what is it called? Shape generate. No, the shape generates the. Yeah, that's that one. Cloud. Shape from polygon. That's the one that I was thinking of. Right? No. Which one is the new cloud node? Cloud noise. It's not the cloud noise. Is the old one. I think they're a collection of well-known noise under Maxon's noise name. I don't know. I don't know. If they're, because all they are just mathematic formulas, right? So you could theoretically recreate them anywhere that you have access to generate things based off of that formula. Like a density map. Not sure what you're talking about there. What is the new node? What is this? I'm drawing a blank. Is it cloud shaped from? It's not cloud shaped from. Actually, isn't there just a cloud thing here? Environments, clouds. Shape generate. No, that's what I just did. Yeah, and Wispy, which is the one that actually builds like the... Oh, of course, my Houdini's gonna freeze. Did they rewrite the original cloud noise from scratch as well? There's one that has all of the... Or is that the... Oh, no, that's the... Sorry, I'm thinking of the sky volume. Yeah, the sky field. The sky field, this one... Not that one, but the sky field noise. Yeah, no. This isn't what I'm thinking about either. Let's just drop them all down. Billowy noise. Oh, it is the billowy noise. Okay. Yeah, this is what I was thinking of. Sorry. The iterations. I don't remember exactly what. Oh, we have to convert this to VDB. That's right. VDB from polygons. And we don't want that. We want 8 density. And let's set this to 0.05 maybe. Let's come in here and we'll set the background to dark. And let's just get rid of our grid. Oh, so this is something that I noticed. So if you have your volume in here, right? So it's very like blurred. As you rotate, it sharpens up, right? So you don't necessarily want that. If you come into your settings, come over to the texture, you get rid of this limit resolution, and you crank that up, sorry, like 512. I did mess with this a little bit, and then there's something else that you need to turn off. I thought maybe it was just this, or no, it's in geometry. Volumes, you set this to off, volume filtering, set that to off, and now that you do that, you don't have this issue where it's very blurry. Polygon, yeah, particles, you're right, my mistake, because these are not polygons. There we go. Radius, yeah, okay, so change this down to 5, and that gets rid of that. So in here we have a bunch of different settings. So all of these, the fibratus and flocus and all those, they remind me of all of the different settings in here. So like that, especially this flocus one, or fractus, is this the one that we were on? Yeah, so this fractus one, it even has in here like this billowy details. So it reminds me a lot of the billowy noise here, because we have these different settings in here. So in here, if you want this to have like multiple iterations, we can go in here, and then that just allows us to activate some of these other settings, so you can play with some different things in here. We also, let's go ahead and put a light, or yeah, distant light, right? It may not be best to build these in Solaris. Shape generate has P scale. Yeah, you can do all sorts of things in here. So we have point separation. You can get, obviously, you have your offset. So there's also different types of clouds that it kind of generates or wants to generate. The shape. I haven't played around with this too much. I've done very, very basic stuff with this. So that's the initial size. You can play around with the length. Set varying. Ooh, that's interesting. So you can, this, I feel like this would be more useful, but it's not. Doesn't seem like that's that useful. Can't find anything about the history / availability of Maxon noises and other DCCs. I know Redshift has access to it, have made it available on 3ds Max, but only through the renderer. Yeah, so I think Octane bought the rights from Maxon to use their noises. So I think they are like somewhat like copywritten by Maxon, which kind of sucks. Like it's great for them obviously, but kind of sucks that they aren't available for, you know, everything. Random scale per shape. Oh, interesting. So you can play around. That's like P scale almost, right? And then secondary shapes. That's kind of an interesting shape. They're built-in Material X shaders for fluid / whitewater stuff in 20. There is a water shader. I don't know, other than that, it would be in the material linker. So like, yeah, there's water, there's pyro, there's also cloud shaders. As far as other fluids, not sure. I mean, there's apple juice and stuff, but you can mess around with them. Obviously, these are just like presets, right? So you can like create them, assign them, and then edit them to your liking. Will I speak a little bit of Spanish? But if you speak English well, I would appreciate it if you keep it in English so that we can all communicate well. But hello, you said hello and greetings from Peru. It's kind of cool. I think that's what that means. Saludos. It's been a long time since I took Spanish. Hola. I'm not even going to try. Nope, it's been too long. Yeah, so this may not be the best to do in Solaris, just because there is you want to use the what's it called, the lights to kind of give you a better viewport. But there are these other nodes as well. This new adjust density profile, this is pretty nice. Allows you to affect the density. You can visualize it in here. So this has some different settings. So this is kind of overriding the density, right? So if we get rid of the internal density, you may want to get rid of that just to not have it. I would like to see this be more of like a multiplier rather than a straight override. And then you could like have a clamp or something. Density, I'm assuming this is the node that you're talking about. Output -1. But yeah, so we can play around with the edge density. Actually, this needs to be probably a lot bigger. Let's come in here. We'll set this to like 10. It's going to take a little bit longer to calculate. And actually, let me turn up the size now. So let's set this to like 0.1 maybe. Can you print directly in that 2D volume plane? I don't think so. This is just a visualization. Talking about the volume density. Works really well with the new Karma Cloud material. Yes, it does work super well with the new Karma Cloud material. I've messed around with this a little bit. I haven't really done a whole lot into it because there is quite a bit to these to get some decent looking shapes. It's kind of weird to do manipulation like stuff within Solaris. What do you mean by that? This is different just because the shading requires like lighting kind of in Solaris to get a good idea of what you're looking at. But yeah. So like I don't know. I would rather see, like I said, this as a multiplier, this internal density as a multiplier that we can clamp to a range, rather than it just being a straight override. Just because, like, sometimes you want to keep this in there, right? You want to keep the detail in there. Let's go ahead. I'm going to load up the content library of this so we can take a look at it and see what they did in there, because there are some setups in there and they are already done. And since I haven't messed around with them a whole lot, I can take a look at how they're done in this to get an idea. This one is, let me actually just cancel that, because this is the basic billowy cloud from the project, the content library from Houdini. So by default, this is pretty low res. So we're gonna crank it up a little bit. And actually, let's kind of step through it as well. So I think they have, no, they don't have a light in here. That's interesting. So they start off with the cloud shape generate. Looks like they're, again, cranking up the size. Just to get more of like a cloud size. Clouds are actually really big, so this is like, what is that, -15, so it's like 30 meters across. Cloud's pretty large. So you can mess around with this. Let's just see what they did. So they're using a mountain to just kind of move it around, looks like. And then again, the VD from particles, which we did before. And then they're clipping off the bottom. Clouds are usually pretty flat on the bottom, so it doesn't surprise me that they do that. I don't know why this warning is here. Visualizing density volume, so it's not affected. Oh, okay, never mind. Yeah, so we've got these cloud adjust density profile to get a better idea what it looks like. So you can invert this too. I think it's on the billowy noise. We'll take a look. How he killed the billowy noise, flatten the cloud in certain areas. I'm not sure what you're referring to. So this has the override look available to you. I don't know how I feel about this. Like, yeah, you can set it to the ambient occlusion, or this looks horrible. But I don't know. Personally, I don't really like how this looks. But I guess we'll leave it on. Break the noise. I'm not sure what you're meaning. So this has the same problem as we had in the other one. So we'll change this to maybe like 512 just to make sure that we have enough resolution. We also need to come into the geometry and set this to off so that we don't have that that blurring that's going on. So it looks like in this one, let's look at the next one. see what they're doing. So looks like he's generating most of the large shapes with this. And then in the second billowy noise, he's going through and making some of that finer detail. Why don't we actually, let's render this out too, just to show you guys. Where is, uh-oh. Isn't he in stage? Stage context? No? What did we load up in? I thought we loaded up in the stage context. I guess we were probably in Solaris, or weren't we? That would be under the stage context. Let's just reopen this so we can take a look at it. Will it work if you want to make it collide with something? No. Oh, we were just down here. Okay, I'm an idiot. Okay. No. I mean, you would have to like advect it. You'd have to run it through like a pyro sim in order to get it to collide with something. And to be honest with you, most of the, from my understanding at least, most of the collision stuff that happens that you see in like the movies or stuff with like something flying through a cloud and like coming like a far shot. It's like the shot that I'm thinking of is like from How to Train Your Dragon or something. Like something flies up through the clouds and then obviously the cloud moves along with it. That's going to be some like, it's going to be a pyro sim that's layered on top. Yeah, you could use the cloud shape as a source. That's exactly what I was trying to get at. But you probably would use a second simulation that's layered on top of that, and then all comp together. But let's go ahead. Let's dive into the LobNet and so we can look at this. So there's two different ways to render this out. I don't know. This one doesn't seem to work very well. I think you have to disable something or something. I don't know. The multi-scatter though is where what you really want to be looking at. This is using the ambient occlusion. So in here, this looks really good. Now this should be using XPU, and I'm gonna go ahead. I don't really like this Karma, the Labs Karma LOP or whatever. I don't know. I just don't like it. But you can come in. I don't know. Where is the? I don't ever use this one. There's a denoiser that's available somewhere. Let's see if we can find it. You guys know where it's at? Denoiser, there it is. So this should enable the denoiser once my Houdini decides to figure its life out. Yeah, adding a wispy noise definitely makes it look a little bit better. Welcome, Simon, by the way. I feel like I recognize your name. But yeah, so this looks super good, and this obviously has the denoiser on, but as it starts to clean up and get some of the detail back in here, you can see that these look really, really nice. Like I said, this is from the content library, so you can go and play around with this yourself. The one thing I will say, as far as, I mean, obviously volumes are very hard to calculate in general, but I would say that Karma doesn't do the best job as far as speed goes. Obviously they look really good, but speed wise they're pretty slow. Now obviously like I said, I'm aware that volumes just render slow in general, but they will be pretty noisy for a while. You have to add a lot of samples in there to really get the noise down. But they do look really good. This is using the cloud shader in Houdini 20. So there's a new cloud material, and it's set up, everything in here. It's just another pyro shader, but it is set up for clouds, which looks really good. Let's jump out of this though. Let's go back to dissecting this. Have they added AOVs yet? Like all of them? They've got quite a few AOVs that are available. Which engine is best for volumes? I mean, you talking about speed or look? I don't know. I think Karma looks really good. Arnold looks really good. You can get some good stuff with like Redshift and stuff. I think out of the box, Arnold looks probably maybe one of the best. Karma actually looks really good with volumes. So I'll try that. Nice to watch you explore H20 while I adjust some renders in 19.5. Play around yet? Yeah, yeah, from the Antagma videos. That could be. I don't know. Could be. Corona looks insane. I haven't messed around with Corona. Corona's like limited to only a few software, right? But I'm gonna go back to this. Let's see. So, looks like the density. So they want the edges to be more dense, which is kind of interesting. I think that maybe I guess I don't really know how clouds look as far as if you were to fly through them, but I think they have some varying density in the middle of them. So if we take like a volume slice towards the end here, and that is, no, that's not what I'm looking for. Is this a, there we go, that'll work. So you can see we have flat density in here. So this gray is just flat. So I think that it would look better if you added some variation to the density on the inside. It's just a personal opinion. That can be done pretty easily with a volume VOP and just like a fast noise or something like that. But I guess you'd need to limit that. I don't know. So it looks like they're creating, like I said, the bigger shapes in here. Let's just mess around with it. This may be a little bit too high res. Let's drop that down, maybe 2. Yeah, maybe not that far. So it looks like they're using the advect in here, so let's see what that does. Kind of gives it more detail. Really like Karma so far. The first test was instancing workflows, but had issues with using displacement packed primitives. Oh yeah, I just saw that actually before I started the stream. I just saw that they were, that's something that they added, but no, I haven't. I think that's what I saw. Maybe it was, I think that's what I saw. Maybe it's Solaris, right? Displacement. I haven't messed around with it. Oops. Maybe not. Alright, Nick, see you around. Thanks for hanging out for a while. Let's see. So they're running a bunch of iterations on here, which is interesting. So that adds more detail, but it also just kind of pushes it out more, it looks like. Wonder what this does. Number of noises. Guess it's all just a layering of detail. So these are only available, these settings, the attenuation, everything, that's only available if you have the iteration set to something greater than 1. Let's see if this does anything. Just messing around. There's just a lot of layering, it seems like, is what they're just doing. Adding, you know, typical large shapes and then small shapes. Obviously using the cloud clip to straighten things out. So interesting thing about the cloud clip, you see it right here. Let me turn off the grid. But in the bottom here, we have the ability to displace where it's clipped at, which is super nice. I think it looks kind of crappy just like that. So this adds a little bit of detail back into that. Obviously still got some flat spots, so that's why they're adding down further. They're adding some things into there to kind of cover that up. That's where this comes in. So he's clipping the top of it again and then adding a lot of displacement to the top. And then looks like they're activating it to expand it. So before and after. And then using a volume noise fog. What is this doing? Oh, is this creating a mask? Is this what this is doing? Or are we just affecting the density? I don't know. And then they're using this as the base for their wispy noise. So I think it'd be cool to be able to actually, a lot of times you see some of the wispier stuff kind of on the edges. Let me just, let's take one of these adjust density profiles and visualize it. So I would like to see what happens if we take this. We could add some noise to this too to kind of break it up. And then let's do a wispy noise. So I don't know how all this works. You just plug straight into here. Or do you need, what is this doing? Surface, probably need this, right? Like I said, this is the first time that I'm messing around with this. Here, let's just copy this over, and instead, let's use this as our first input. So I guess it's still using the mask. I'll have a node for that. Particle, I also have a video on it. Follow. What the heck did I name that? I guess it's under my tools. Particles along lines, there you go. I have a node for that. It's on my Patreon if you want to grab it. It's not super difficult. I also have a video that goes over how to make that, but I just packaged it all up into a nice little container and put it on my Patreon. If you have access to that, you can grab it there, or you can just go to the video and you can watch how we did it on there, or how I created it, because that's essentially all I did. Let's see. So we got some different noises in here, which is kind of cool. And some of them, probably aren't going to work real well. So I wonder, why is this using just the bottom? Because it's got the clip on there. We probably need another adjust density then. Cloud adjust density profile. Looks like my internet's having some issues again. I don't know what's going on. Hopefully you guys can still see and hear me. Let's visualize this again. Or actually, nope. Let's set this back to the flow. There we go. Okay, so it's just that noise type that was causing that. So now we kind of have, we can kind of go inside. Nope, can't really go inside. You can kind of see we have like a shell there. This noise. Yeah, so this is kind of only on the edges, which is kind of more what I would expect to see on some clouds rather than just maybe the bottom. But I guess that's just me going off of my memory. So we have some wind strength. So this will affect how it's like being pushed. So if we crank this up something really hard, I guess it's not really. It's not really working like I thought it was, but you set your wind direction. Let's set it up and see if we can get it to kind of move up. Yeah, so it kind of pushes it up. I don't know. It's not working how I would expect it to work, I guess. But you have some wind that you can put in there. Let's see, what do they have? Wind velocity. It's not pretty low, actually. Let's set this back. Scale by surface distance. So there's a ton of controls in here. There's so many things. So many things that you can mess around with. But they did a really good job of creating this. I don't remember who actually made this file, but they did a really good job with making some really good looking clouds. We also have the sky volume, the Skybox. The sky fields are super cool now too. So we need a sky field. Let's look at these real quick. So sky field and then sky field noise. If you want to build it that way, there's also just a Skybox node, which can take the inputs of these. But really, honestly, everything is kind of available to you in this node right here. So we have billowy, alligator, all these different types of noises, which are all kind of the same-ish as the ones that are in there. So you have a lot of stuff that's available to you in just the Skybox node. So this will give you a little bit of extra control, but for the most part, the Skybox will get you, for the most part, where you need to go. So let's maybe mess around with these a little bit. So it looks like the billowy noise is there by default no matter what. We can add in some other noise types. So you probably would want to add a wispy for a lot of things. Let's maybe set the voxel size down a little bit. Let's give us a little bit more detail, and I'm going to turn the background to dark as well, just so we can see this a little easier. So with and without the wispy noise. So that's definitely nice. I definitely would keep that around. So you have some animation. There is a project file on the side effects website that shows you how to do an animated noise. Like a Skybox, I believe, which I haven't looked at, but it is there available to you. So you can layer these too. Like the way that you'd want to kind of build a skybox would probably be to make a few of these. You can also make it a curved sky, which is really kind of stupid, but it's there. I don't know why you'd. I guess maybe if you're making a like a planet, I guess like a planet-sized skybox or like a cloud layer. This is where you would use this for. I don't know. I don't see myself using that really. But you can set this as well, so you can use the sky layers like these to drive these. You also have mass that you can mess with. So this is going to erode the edge. So if you don't want to have it like just be square, you're going to create just kind of bigger clouds, I guess. You can use this erode. Kind of interesting. That's weird that its element size is kind of similar to what I would expect the erosion to be. I figured the erosion would refer to like how much it's eroding inwards. But you can get some cool cloud shapes just from this. Let's just plug this into this and see what it looks like. I wonder, okay, yeah, it does work. So let's just fire up XP and see what that looks like. Volume shader, the new cloud shader looks so good. Yeah, you can easily get some nice skyboxes going on with this as well. I'm obviously just kind of glossing over things right now. I haven't messed around with them enough to really give a good what's it called, like review or whatever you want to call it. You can limit these to a camera frustum. That is super nice. We'll show you how to do this. I did mess around with this as well. So you can kind of keep your scene cleaner, a little bit cleaner. Wait for this to calculate. There we go. And then we'll make a camera here. Okay, let's undo this. Let's go back. There we go. So let's set it to something like this. And then we can unlock it and go out. And with the camera frustum, we can then select that camera. Accept. It's going to take a second, but it's going to then just clip it based off of what the camera sees. And there you go. Now it is clipping a little bit before the end there, so you can crank this up to like 2000, and we should get the rest of the cloud as well. It does take a minute to calculate. I wonder how it's working on the back end. You could probably make that faster. Have any of you guys used OpenCL much? That's something I wanted to take a look at some point in time, but I haven't messed around with OpenCL at all. I briefly watched a little bit of like the masterclass from 16.5. I don't remember who did that, but there's a little masterclass on it. So there, now we got the rest of our sky volume. So that's nice. It does take a while to calculate. Probably something you would want to cache out if you're going to use it in an animation, because as you saw there, it does take quite some time to cache out there. But it works kind of well. I feel like the cloud tools are a little bit slow, depending on what you're doing. Like obviously that was kind of slow. I don't think they're too bad though. I think that you definitely need to mess around with the resolution, like with these. If you set these to be super low while you're working, then yeah, you're gonna have issues. I don't know why what is going on here? There we go. Weird. So if you set the VDB size too low, you're going to obviously have some issues. But like this is not a super, it's not a super high resolution, but it's not super low either. And this, you know, they're gonna calculate pretty quick. If I change something in here, like it's done already. Maybe it's just your setup, or maybe you have the particles set to something that's a little bit too low while you're working. Obviously, when you get to your final thing, your final export, you'd probably want to drop this down. By default, I think this is set to, I don't know if this is set to 0.1 or something higher or lower, I mean. But yeah, and that isn't super slow. Even if I want to calculate through the entire thing, like it's gonna calculate somewhat fast. See, and we're done already. So I don't know, I would check that particle size there. Is there anything anybody else wants to take a look at and see what else is on the docket? Polyhinge node. Yeah, man, it doesn't want to load. Sorry, I'm trying to pull up something on the on one of my other monitors. Seems like every time I try to load a page, though, my internet wants to die. The hex tile, that's a good one. Let's go ahead. We can take a look at that. Hopefully we still have video. Like I said, internet wanting to die on me. Just gonna stop that. All right, let's jump into Solaris. Hopefully you guys still see me. Let me know if you guys can still see me and hear me. I'm dropping everything right now. Holy crap. Are we back? Yep, all good. Okay. For some reason, every time I like try to load something from the internet, it just dies. So sorry about that. Let's go ahead and look at the hex tile. Let's get over to the stage. We can let's set the pig head, I guess. Don't need a shader for it. So material library. Put down the Karma material builder. Take a look at that. So we have a triplanar and a regular one that works off of UVs. So with this, we can select our asset. So let me just find a texture. Give me a second. It's going to take a second to load up here. Am I still dropping frames real bad? show us how to properly use the volume shader. Not sure. Like I don't do a lot with volume. So you're talking about like the new stuff in Solaris? Give me a second here. Let me find something. It's pretty obvious with like a fabric texture. I think I cover this. Yeah, I cover this in the video I got coming out next week. Can hear me all the time. Okay, well that's good. My frames are, I'm showing dropping a ton of frames and stuff. I guess that doesn't affect the volume. All right, so I just loaded up a texture here. Let's just pipe this into base color, and then, whoops, not storm. Need to assign this material linker. So S plus, I'm not sure what you're meaning, but there is a volume or like a pyro shader. There's also a smoke or a cloud, I mean. So there's not really much to do with those. You pretty much just pop them on there and you're good. As far as the cloud goes, I haven't messed with the pyro smoke. I guess we can load that in and take a look at it, but it's not going to necessarily apply to this, what we're doing. Let's look at this hex tile real quick though. So just apply this to our SOP create. Oops, I guess just deselect that. Get rid of this grid as well. So we kind of have it going on here. You can't really tell where all the seams are at in here. So you can mess around with this. So if I take the set to 0, you see that we get, I mean, there's a triplanar projection going on here. So you're gonna get some blending like right across here. Let me set the specular up as well. So we get some blending on the tops and stuff where the triplanar takes effect, but overall, even just with the random rotation turned off on some textures, it might work. As I start to increase the rotation, you're going to see the hex tile is kind of taking effect there. So you can mess with the contrast. You can really up the contrast. If I turn that all the way up, you start to see kind of the edges. I don't know how well that comes across in the video, but you can kind of see the edges of where the tiles are. This one, there you go. So you can see the hex tile right there. So that's kind of like the fall off of where it takes effect. This setting does. So if you turn that up, it looks like it makes it a harsher edge. How to bake the hex tile to a texture. No, probably in cops. You can export textures through cops. I haven't done it. I know you can do it. I just haven't really done it, so I know that you can, but I'm not sure how all that's done. Yeah, there's not a whole lot really to this node. I guess you can do random scale too. I didn't realize that. That's kind of cool. You can randomize the scale of your tiles. How do I install the AMD Material Library on Mac? So I think the only thing that you need to do, I guess Mac may be a little bit different, but I think the only thing that you need to do is come to this catalog, and then you come over to this little cog and open default material catalog. Or not default material, that's for this one, but the AMD Material X library. So once you click that, it's going to bring up a browser for you. Just select where you want to save the materials. You click accept, and then it's going to load up the Material X library, and that's probably going to kill my stream again. I shouldn't have done that. I'm going to go ahead and, well, I'm going to wait for Houdini to not crash. Yep, it's wants to download things. I don't know why my internet's been real weird lately. I'm not getting the speed that I pay for. Houdini wanting to crash. I think it's probably because I'm streaming. I don't usually have this issue when I'm not streaming. It's pretty stable. Houdini in general has always been pretty stable, but I guess streaming is putting a little too much on it. This is the worst one that I've had. There we go. But anyways, that's going to open the AMD library. I'm going to not do that just so it stops killing my stream. As far as the shader goes, like the cloud shader, yeah, live stream's unpredictable. We can load that in. Or I guess we were going to do the pyro smoke. I don't have any like VDBs that are saved to my computer. So we'll just load this in as a VDB. Maybe. Houdini struggling. There we go. VDB from polygons. Let's set that to a fog VDB. And let's turn off rendering. So with this, if we apply the, let's do the pyro smoke one because I haven't played with that. Should be able to apply that to our volume. And I also need to get rid of that one. I think we'll need a light for this. Actually, we'll do the physical sky. Why not? And then I think we should be able to load this up. So let's do the cloud on it just to show. Oops. One thing that is annoying about the AMD library, the materials are black boxes. Wow, what do you mean? I get when I load up the, are you talking about like the thumbnails for them? So when I load up the thumbnails are the actual materials. So there you kind of have the cloud shader. Now it doesn't look real great because it's on just this pig head that's not really got any sort of anything to it. But you have pyro smoke. I wanted to try and edit that one. Let's go ahead and do that. And then we should be able to edit material properties. One thing I don't like about the material library, or the AMD material library, is they don't have everything like set up nicely. As far as like the UV stuff is kind of annoying to set up. Means they're locked assets. You can't go in and yeah, okay, I understand what you mean. That's kind of what I was going into as well. They don't have, when you have a that set up, I'm not going to do it because again it's going to just make my stream die again. But when you load in the material library and you assign it to something, you have to, like, the way to get the tiling to come in, it's not like an edit material properties thing, right? So can we, let's see, I don't know which one it is. It's pyro smoke, right? Yeah, so you load in like the material like this. There should be a UV thing on this, like on the top level, and there's not. Or like, I think when you assign it, or no, it is just in here. Or even in like the edit material, the edit material network, if we were to do this, right? We click load. This is how you'd edit the material. once it loads up. That's how you actually go in and affect the material. It doesn't have like UVs, and there's something else. There's like a couple things that it's just like missing that it should have. It in my opinion, it should just have on the top level of everything that you have access to. Yeah, so you have like this. Yeah, so you're saying that you can't go into like do all this and see how it's all set up. Is that what you're saying? Geometry property values. Density scale. Yeah, to even get the UV things, you have to like dive into this shader or this scene graph, and you have to like right click on stuff, and it's just a pain in the butt. S plus, if you're still around, I don't know. This is how you go through with the volume shaders. I don't really do this stuff much, so you have to bear with me. But yeah, you can go through and change things. I think we would need this to be rendering, actually. Yeah, so you can go through and change everything somewhat in this manner. Obviously, adjust it to how you would actually do it. But yeah, we're running out of time here. Is there anything that anybody wants to go over real quick before we get off here in a few minutes? Anything else that you guys want to take a look at? Let me know. Otherwise, I do have a couple videos coming out next week. One of them is going to be going over some of the other stuff in Karma. A lot of the stuff we actually took a look at today, but just wanted to cover some of that stuff in a dedicated video. And if you missed it earlier, some of the stuff that's new that you may have missed inside of Karma, there's a new PBR material texture set, which is super nice. This allows you to just kind of organize everything just a lot better. You can put all of your textures in here. They have default values if you don't have anything plugged in. There's also some new noises. So Voronoi noise, there's the 2D and 3D versions of those, so you can mess around with those. There's also a Material X noise that's new, circles 2D, so that's kind of cool. That just creates circles basically on your mesh. Apparently there's actually a bunch of procedurals that I didn't necessarily realize were in here, but that also aren't super useful. You have grid, crosshatch, hexagon, cloverleaf, so some different things in there. Add circles 2D to that. Is that actually still in the... Yeah, okay, it is. So if you didn't know that those were in there, then jump in there. I don't know how many people are left from the start of the stream, but that's some of the stuff that's new to Karma. We also went over at the start the render gallery. So you come here, go to render gallery. We also did the clone control panel. Yeah, no problem, S plus. And then you said the random node is super handy. What? I'm not sure what you're talking about. What random node? Is this in Karma? Random node. I don't know. Oh, something that I didn't cover that's new and is very easily missed, but that's also something you would think that they would have had a while back. You have, if we create group here, so we can select like half of our model or something. And let's reset our viewport too. So we have a group invert node. So we can invert groups now super easily. kind of cool. That's something that is definitely useful and easily missed. There's also the poly hinge node, which I went over in a recent video. You can take a box or something. This is really good for procedural modeling. Cuts down on the number of steps that you need to do for things. So we just select our edge that we want. What is going on here? What is happening? Why is this being weird? Hinge edge, yeah, I don't, it's like not extruding. Oh, we gotta set, so we select our top face, there we go. And then we have this ability to create this. Let's see, render galley with snapshot function is fantastic. Yes, it is. You can also revert everything, which isn't new to Houdini 20, but that's super clutch if you're working on things and trying to test out some different looks and stuff. Random float in Material X. The flatten node? There's a flatten node? This node? Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, right? Yeah. Yes, this is new too. Yeah, that's useful for some different things as well. And that's just like, it's just saves some time on some different things. Like this was possible before. It wasn't super difficult to do, but it's just makes it easier to do. Like I said, just cuts down the steps on stuff. You said the random and Material X. Material X random. Random float. Random float. They didn't have this before. It seems like something that they would have. Random color. I suppose you could. So like there's a splitter. I don't know. Could kind of do that, I guess, probably with wait, the random color has a float thing. You could split that out. I guess that doesn't really matter. Yeah, I could see that being useful. But that is kind of all the time that I'm going to have for today. I do have to go and get ready for work. I got to go to work here, unfortunately. But I appreciate you guys hanging out with me and checking out some of the new stuff in Houdini. I don't get to do live streams very often. And it's kind of nice to be able to get in here and hang out and take a look at some stuff, build some things. So appreciate the time. I will be looking at the new sticky collisions soon. That's something that's on my to-do list for the RBDs. I will figure out how that all works, I promise. Try to take a brief look at it at the start, but didn't get very far. Attributes and procedural shading. Yeah, I can understand that. Yeah, we'll take a look at that. The bubble shader. We didn't take a look at the bubble solver. I completely forgot about that. I will definitely take a look at that too. But yeah, thank you guys for hanging out with me. Like I said, I'm going to continue to take a look at stuff in Houdini 20 here as time goes on. So stick around for that. But I'll have a couple videos going up next week. Continue to try to punch out as much stuff as I can. But it's all dependent on the amount of time that I have. So anyways, check out Patreon if you guys aren't on Patreon, or if you have a Patreon. Even if you don't want to like pay, that's fine, it's cool. There's an option now to follow on Patreon, so I want to use that more, so I'll be looking into doing some more stuff with that. I do have a couple things up there for free that are available now, so you can check that out if you want. The Lightbox room, no, we tried to. No, that's very complex. I was looking into it a little bit before the stream, and I had it just. I'll get to it maybe, I don't know. I'll get to it. It looks like it takes cops or something, and I got to figure it all out. But I promise that I will at least give it a shot because it does look interesting. But anyways, yeah, so Patreon, it is available to follow for free, which is new to Patreon, so definitely do if you're interested in grabbing some of the free stuff that I'm going to be putting out there as time goes on. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. Like I said, I'll have some stuff going up next week, so stay tuned for that, and we'll continue to look at Houdini 20. If you are a U.S. citizen, then have a happy Thanksgiving, and for the rest of you,